Rach and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today we are going to be playing day 6 of my Minecraft 1 day a day challenge. So if you guys have already watched the first 5 days, then please give this a recap because it's probably just going to be really boring for you. And if you guys haven't already watched those videos, then I will be linking the playlist to the other videos up in the cards up above. And I will be giving you guys a quick recap of days 1 through 5 before jumping into day 6 recap. So let's go ahead and get straight into that day 1 recap. So day 1, my recap is that I basically started off in a ice spike biome, and it was on the edge of a snowy taiga, so I got all of my wood and food from there while I waited to go underground for the night. So there wasn't a lot of food, if I'm being honest, which was one of the starting supplies I really wanted to gather. Since it was a snowy taiga on the edge of an ice spike, there wasn't hardly any food, if I'm being honest, but that was okay. I figured once I traveled a little bit, I would probably find a regular taiga, which I did, and I would get some berries, which I did get a couple berries. I also killed a couple animals that happened to be around before I went underground, which was really lucky. And then days 2 through 5, I planned on mining and trying to get some basic iron armor just so I maybe wouldn't die quite as easily, because I'm trying really hard with this challenge to not die very quickly, so I can at least have a good, maybe 2 weeks at least where I don't die. So that is why I pretty much mined straight for 5 days. Day 2, I had a lot of trouble finding coal for torches, but I did find an underground mine shaft that I explored for most of days 2 through 5. And that was pretty useful because there were some torches in the mine carts that I found, and I was able to use those while I was struggling to find coal. And then on day 3, I did have to go hunting because I was completely starving, which is why I said that I spent most of my time in the mines, but I didn't spend all of it there. I did have my first monster encounter on day 3 as well. I believe it was a skeleton, if I remember correctly. And then day 4, I made full body iron armor, and I also made an iron sword, a pickaxe, and buckets. So that was actually pretty good. I was pretty surprised that I already made a full body iron armor on day 4, because ever since they did the big mining update a couple of years ago, I think it's been like 2 now, I've been really struggling to find any iron or diamond, which is why I've kind of given up on having diamond gear for this playthrough, at least within the first, 50 days, but maybe even the first 100 if we're being real. And I did find another mine shaft really deep in the mines when I was mining on day 4 for the full body armor. And then on day 5, which was our most recent day, I almost died to a witch. It was a very dangerous situation. I barely blocked it off before it noticed me. And then I found 2 more minecart chests, which did have some pretty good loot in them, including a lore 2 book. So if I can get an auto clicker, I can set up a pretty good automatic fish farm, and that'll be pretty epic. I found a little bit of extra mine space, and I thought, oh, this is kind of nice, more mine. And then it just kept going, and then I found more mine shaft space alongside that, and it was just a lot of stuff, so I'm going to have to explore the rest of that mine shaft later. I did have to get creative with wood from the mine shaft to make torches, because remember how I said I was struggling with coal the first couple days when I was trying to make some torches? Well, by now I started struggling with some wood because I didn't actually have enough. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it for day 5, which means I finally finished our days 1 through 5 recap. Now, I should mention that I have a few goals for day 6 before we start with the day 6 recap. So my day 6 goals are to get a bed. I want to smelt the rest of my stuff down because ending day 5, I noticed that my chests were really cluttered. And part of the reason I think they're so cluttered is because I have tons and tons of unsmelted copper and iron and all that. So I'm going to try to get everything smelted down. And then I want to get a starter house going. So when I say a starter house, I mean just basically making my hole in the ground that I've been mining from nice. Because I know that a starter home is typically pretty nice, and this isn't going to be very nice. It's just going to be very basic, and just basically a little bit something extra to look at. That way you guys don't have to stare at ugly dirt walls anymore. And then I also want to look around and think up some ideas for some future builds, because I feel like I haven't really thought so far about what my bigger base is going to be. Maybe not my big house, like my major build for the series, but I would like to start thinking about my like starter house at least, because replacing the walls of this hut is not going to take me very long, and I feel like I need to start thinking about the future plans. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the notes from day 6. I'm going to try to keep these notes in order as best as possible in relation to the video, but the notes are kind of out of order, I'm noticing as I'm looking them over. So if they're like kind of disaligned with what's happening in the footage, do forgive me for that. I'm trying my best. But the first note, I think chronologically, is that I enlarged the housing space and added a huge raw granite accent wall. So the starter house that I wanted to get going for today, I decided would be a mixture of spruce and granite, because the spruce is pretty much the only wood I have available, and then the granite I thought would be pretty good because I have a lot of stone, and I figured doing just cobblestone and spruce would be a little bit basic for a starter house. I figured if most people had the supplies that I had for my starter house, that they would probably also do spruce and cobblestone, so I tried to switch it up just a little tiny bit from what I would normally do and use some granite instead. And so I went with raw granite because the polished granite looked a little bit weird. It looked a little bit too tiley, so I tried to use some raw granite for the accent wall. And I thought maybe it would also create a little dimension and maybe make it look a little bit bigger. I don't know. It didn't really work the greatest. But I tried. I was trying. I also stayed out past dark, which was kind of stupid in my opinion, because the following note was that I almost had a fight with a skeleton. And I think based off of the way that I typed it out, I think I may or may not have almost died. Which isn't good, but you know, these things do happen, and at least it was only an almost death and not an actual death, because an actual death on day 6 would have been really embarrassing. I did get a lot of things smelted. I didn't get everything smelted, but I think I got most of everything smelted today. And then I also got a bed, which I was really, really wanting because I've been having to like stay up through the night, and I was starting to get scared that phantoms would attack me if I walked outside at night. Which they probably definitely would have, but at least now I don't have to worry about that anymore now that I have this nice new bed. And I think I will be using it to sleep through the night a lot because I'm really, really getting sick of having to constantly check outside and make sure that I'm not going into the next day. Because the hard thing about this challenge is really just making sure that you don't accidentally play 2 days at once. And honestly, I think that's probably why I'm most excited about the bed from this list of notes. I mean, of course, getting everything smelted so that I can start getting things organized is a big want for me, but I think more than anything, I just wanted that bed. I think the bed was honestly top of my list, if I'm being real. So my day 7 goals for next time I play are to smelt some more stuff because I really want to get the rest of the stuff smelted. And then I noticed that I'm starting to get a little low on coal again, so I need to go mine a ton of coal. I don't want to run out of coal, and I'm thinking for the build that I want to do, maybe I should get a lot of coal, because I was thinking about using some smooth stone in it. And if I do end up using smooth stone, then I'm gonna need to get some coal. And then I also need to organize my chests because they're really, really messy. And I discussed that a little bit last episode of the goals that I wanted to do for day 6 and 7. And I did mention the chest being really messy. But it's gotten even worse today since I was smelting everything down. It's gotten really, really bad. So I'm trying to split my goals up a little bit more daily. Or at least a little bit more daily for the minutes. I don't know how long I'll carry on with the daily goals. I probably will start doing weekly goals again sometime soon, because I think the daily goals for now are working pretty well, in the way that it's keeping me a little bit more on track, and I'm not forgetting what I want to do from episode to episode, I don't think, too badly. But pretty soon I'm going to need to start making weekly goals, because I feel like my daily goals would just be like work on the build, do this, you know? Like basically just stay alive and work on whatever it is we're building at the time. So I feel like the daily goals are going to get pretty mundane after a point. Right now they're not, because I have so much I need to do, but I think it would be better if I started switching over to weekly goals at some point very soon. But we're pretty much at the end of the episode now, so I guess I will be seeing you guys in the next day of Minecraft that I play, or maybe the next video I release. So if you guys have any more suggestions for any other challenge I could try out, do leave it in a comment down below, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!